Again, and hello everyone. At the outset, let me congratulate the AI Palette team and the other organizers to bring together the industry minds into this transforming Food Insights Summit. I am sure this summit is going to leave a lasting impact on how we drive insights from the data, and that would help the food industry. Let me also thank the AI Pilot team for inviting me to deliver this keynote address today. Even I was not invited, I would have still been part of this summit because I have my own personal passion for data and a lot of belief in the potential of data about how data can help businesses as well as the go-to-market teams. So in the next 15 minutes, I'll talk about the role of data with respect to go-to-market, how go-to-market is changing, how data can help in different areas of go-to-market, and some of the challenges that lie ahead. So moving on to the slide here, I really like the quote by Thomas Davenport where he says, every company has big data in its future, and every company eventually will be in the data business. And I truly believe in it. And that's where I can see we all have heard data is the new fuel. And some people say it's the new oxygen. And some people call it new currency. And I believe data is the new raw material for every business. It is impossible to thrive, in this era without data. And we are in the era of data, or what we call it our industrial revolution 4.0. So moving on, in spite of the fact that we have massive surge in data in the recent times, where we generate more data, we capture more data, and we combine them, but I still believe that data is still underutilized. Consider the fact that every organization today operate in digital environment. The organizations have so much of data and which can potentially and these are transformative data which can be used. But I still believe, that's where I come to say that there is abundance of data, and I think we are still starving in that abundance. Data is not being fully used to its potential. And especially I can relate it to our go-to-market organizations and the way we move into market. I think a lot more can be done with the data. We also see data sitting in different silos, in different, and then they are differently structured and that could be differently organized. And that's a challenge, and that's something which we need to discuss as we progress through this summit. Now, data enables better decision making, and there's no doubt about it. But then the data can, unless it is processed, in terms of where the decisions cannot be made in terms of its quality and relevance. And I heard the panel discussion earlier, and we again relate to the same. So I believe our ability to analyze the data and get exactly the relevance is still a challenge. And I think, and that's something which I would leave a thought behind to the team as we move on with this summit to really see how we can have better capabilities to analyze data. And when we talk about data, again, there is a lot of new sources of data that emerge. There is a lot of organizational internal data, but there is also a lot of data that comes in from the social media and other online sources. So how this massive increase in data should be really helping us to analyze and take give us the actionable insights, and they should be executionable. So I see that these new sources of data, the internal and external, they need to be combined together, and then that would really help the go-to-market in terms of why the demand is going up, what's the new consumer trend, how they can be using these insights for price negotiations, how can we anticipate demand patterns. These are areas which we need to really work and get better insights to the data. And that's where, these insights would enable the GTM strategy. Now, if you look at what's happening in the last 1 year and how our go-to market has been transforming at a very accelerated pace. So before I explain this slide, which is again still quite obvious, but let me tell you, sales has traditionally been an intuition-driven profession. And I must agree that the sales function have not transformed substantially over many years, unless very recent time when the sales data and technology has been able to change the way we operate, we think, we feel, and we decide. So there has been very recent changes, but in this COVID era, I could say that there is a lot more changes that is happening. And we in the B2B sales organizations are transitioning from experience and intuition based selling to a data driven selling. And COVID has accelerated that transformation. Now, this slide is very interesting, and thanks to McKinsey, based on their recent survey, if you look at it, uh, the old way of meeting customers in person have significantly reduced, and whereas the digital interactions have increased, whether it is video or online, have changed. Now, when we look at sales, we are forced to now rely on sales data and other insights for our go-to-market approach, because our old way of that experience and intuition-driven decision making doesn't work anymore. So, and hence, it is very important that the industry, and especially the industry I'm referring to now, should really come up with the capabilities that would actually help the go-to-market organizations to continue to engage with customers and do all our activities as we were doing in past, but with the waste of very clear actionable insights. See, if you look at what we were doing in past, many areas like demonstrating our capabilities, we used to, hop into a taxi or take a plane, go to customers and meet them in person to do a lot of activities, we call it customer facing activities. And today that has been completely disrupted. And that's where we were getting our cues and clues when we used to sit with the customer. And what we were doing was to demonstrate our capabilities, deliver customer value proposition to them, promote our new solutions. Yeah. Or we could actually talk to new or existing customers. We could do tasting with the customer and get the feedback. We deliver insight and see how they feel and what, about our insights, what we show them. We would also, ideate with customers and our distributors and our other channel partners. But today that cannot be done because all that is happening virtually today. Yeah. So now, if you look at I must say, some of the digital tools which we developed in the recent days have really helped us. Sorry, is my screen not visible? I think I can see a different screen here. Padi?
Hi, Roy. Unfortunately, we were having a bit of issues with your presentation. It was stuck on the...
So it's not stuck. I will move it. So please, can I go back to my screen?
Should we do that? Yeah, we'll just transfer control back to you.
Thank you. So let me... Okay. So this is the slide I was going to explain, and that's where we can see the change in the interaction that's happening, right? Now, if you look at, so that's on our side in terms of how we, our interaction with our customers. But if you look at the customers, how they interact with us today, is also they are much comfortable now working with us remotely or through the digital stuff. And the survey clearly comes out that 70 to 80% of the customers now are, I mean, they prefer remote human interaction than or the digital self-serve instead of meeting us in person. Safety may be one of the reason, but even otherwise, customers prefer remote interaction, and there are benefits of doing it. So now, if you look at moving on, the question we were always asking, is it sustainable to connect with customers remotely? Now, to me, it looks like most of it will stay, and the future will be the digital or the virtual or the remote way, which means we have to adapt and develop capabilities and tools that could actually help us to be more efficient, effective, as well as agile in prospecting, promoting, as well as engaging our customers. Now, if you look at the slide, it clearly calls out that the ways have changed and we need to adapt. And the faster we adapt, the better the future is going to be. Which means while in the process of adapting, we need to look at how our sales processes need to change or it may need some standardization, because a part of our sales activities may get automated. So you need to standardize and simplify it. It also means that we might have to restructure our go-to-market teams to see how we have to optimize the structure between the field sales as well as the digital sales team or the remote selling team, which also means that we need to develop effective ways, effective digital tools to connect with our customers. From a talent point of view, which is the most important, where we may need to completely upskill our talent and change the mindset of our teams. Now, these are big changes. In past, we think that EQ was more important when we had more face-to-face interaction. But it will also mean that in future, while we are hiring, we need to look at the IQ a lot more, because people need to be more digitally savvy. They need to be agile. They need to have that growth mindset, and those ones who will be able to use data insights in creating the customer, compelling customer stories or our value proposition. So they need to be really data and digital friendly as we go. Now, again, moving on to where data insights can help GTM strategy. And I think a lot of it we discussed in the earlier panel. We will discuss actually probably in the next coming sessions too. But data and insights can help. I think we have listed internally about 50 different areas in go-to-market activities, different areas of go-to-market. I may not go into all of them, but the point is, look at how it can help creating a customer value proposition, deciding on the road shows, the campaigns, when to do it, where to do it, and it will talk about how it supports our decision making. It enables sales team to spend more time with the customer on meaningful activity when you have the right insights. It really gives us that agility, So there are many areas, and I'm sure some of them will be covered as we go through the session. Now, moving on, what we have done as Cargill in the last few, I would say, months, in terms of developing digital capability to engage our customers. And this is one of the example we have in North America, where our teams now have a self-serve automated model. A customer could come into our booth at any point of time, see what we have to offer, what are the portfolios, what are the solutions that are relevant to them, and they can also connect with us. This is another tool where, again, it talks about the self-serve and automation, where customers could come and visit our innovation center, see our capabilities, our pilot plans, our solutions, and then look at what we have to offer as a prototype. They could order a prototype, they could order a sample, they could provide feedbacks, they could also get quotations, and they could, and I mean, the next step is to even do some, they could book orders with us, all automated. So that means our go-to-market is going to completely change. The customers' buying behaviors have changed, and we need to enable the digital way through the data and insights. Now, having said that, I mean, with where the data can help, I see some challenges, and this is something which not we as an industry needs to solve, but also the data insight providers need to also work on the change management and how we will help the organization to use data and insight and or learn to use these insights. And I think I will not go into all of this, but then again there are things which is related to change management, and unless and then the responsibility of the change management lies two-way. Better insights would actually be improving the better adoption of data insight tools, but and similarly making it, so we would be also, when using it, the more we use it, the more conviction will come. So it's a two-way approach to use data for our on a day-to-day go-to-market activities. Leaving, before I conclude, I would leave two thoughts with the team to and for your discussion in the coming sessions, is about how do we actually make data insights more actionable to us, and that could actually help us to improve the customer experience, especially in the remote and self-serve formats. Now, this is new to us, and a lot more capability and insights need to be developed. But how can, as an industry, you guys can help us? The other one is, again, how can we go just beyond data analytics and could measure the emotional engagement in a virtual or self-serve platform? I know social media listening and the capability about how consumers can react, or how we can capture those insights. But then in a digital meeting where you are in a used to be in a 3D, three-dimensional view of a customer or a contact, but now you get the two-dimensional. How could the industry help us to improve the data and the emotional engagement of our customers and contacts when we talk to them in a or a virtual, or even in a few people-less self-serve formats? That's it from me, and I wait for the Q&A.